Hello, St. Joseph's College. Welcome to Golden Eagle Spirit Fest. My name is Lisa Galasso, and I'm the Associate Director of Alumni Engagement. I want to thank everyone for coming, especially our faculty and everyone here. It's very nice to see you. You're here because of the SJC Accounting program. Whether you are a student, part of the St. Joseph's College Alumni Association, or even a prospective student that's interested in the program. This meetup will provide a chance for alumni to reflect on their experiences as accounting majors and talk with current students about the impact that the major had on their career and professional life. Also, a demonstration of our new online platform, SJCNY Connect, will be provided by our Director of Alumni Engagement, Paulina Malin. To start off this morning's program, please help me welcoming our Accounting Department Chairperson and St. Joseph's College alumna, Jennifer Mensche, class of 01 and class of 16, along with Assistant Professor and former Chair, Mary Chance, who would start us off with updates about our accounting program.
Hi everyone, how are you? Glad to see people here. I recognize many of your names from my classes or from classes that you used to have. Christine, hi, nice to see you again. I sent you something about the IMA. I hope you got it. Really, we're just here to talk about how St. Joe's career is going to progress. So the 5-year program, Professor Chance is going to speak about the internship program, which you need to get into the 5-year program, and then the benefits of that program. I know I've spoken to, looking and I'm thinking probably everybody here about the program, about how you're going to apply after you've received your 90th credit to the 5-year program, which will allow you to get 4 grad courses at the undergrad level, which is very important because, as you know, as hopefully all you know, you need 150 credits to become a CPA. John's going to speak. Professor Capruso is going to speak about how he just passed the exam, which was very exciting. We were all excited, and he's now a professor here. I really don't have that much to say beyond that, just that obviously I believe in the program because, hey, I graduated from it. So, we turn out pretty good people here. But I want to get more into the meat of the internship program and then a little bit on the grad program. We're also going to talk about the Accounting Society. So I'm just going to pass it over to Professor Chance so she can talk about the internship, which is really something important and an integral part of this program.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. Many of you that are alumni and were students, and I see we have some current students here, we're involved in the internship program at St. Joe's. And as many of you know, once you have completed an internship, many of the employers will hire you part-time while you're a student and then full-time. So there are many, many opportunities. We have many firms on Long Island, as well as the larger firms that will offer our students internships. And every year I get probably more requests than I can fill with students. Right now, I have one firm requesting 6 interns. I have another firm requesting 4 interns. And I have still other firms that are requesting students. And right now, we're just working on filling all of those positions. And I have to tell you, the alumni are a wonderful source of helping us obtain internships at their current employers. Many of our alumni are partners in firms, managers in firms, or help in actively recruiting our students to be interns. So it is a very, very valuable experience. Your advisors can help you understand the requirements. Students have to be at least a junior and have a certain GPA in their major and overall. They have to meet with the career office in order to get their resume approved and to attend their interviewing skills and professionalism workshops. So when all of that is done, Then we will send their resumes out to firms, and the firms will decide on which students to interview and which students to offer an internship to. But they are extremely valuable, and I just hope that the alumni that are here today will continue to help us expand our internship program. I also want to mention very quickly, as many of you know, Professor Skinnon passed away last year. Very sad occurrence for all of us. But his partner, Professor Faber, has created a scholarship in his name. And the scholarship will be awarded to an undergraduate student who is currently enrolled in the 5-year program or who has been accepted into the 5-year program. The students that wish to apply for that scholarship will have to basically write an essay, and that essay, the subject or topic of that essay will be determined by the accounting faculty, and they will be evaluated based on their, of course, scholarship, their GPA, as well as their interest in professional accountancy. Many of our interns are student members of the New York State Society of CPAs, members of our accounting society, and also student members of the AICPA. So all of that will be evaluated when the time comes for us to choose the first recipient of this scholarship. Okay, so if you have any questions, please feel free to email me about either of those topics.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Mary. Up next, we are going to talk about our Alumni Spotlight. Rich, would you like to take it away?
Sure, absolutely. It's nice to see everybody. My name is Rich Schimmel. I'm an alumni of St. Joseph's College. I was in the 5-year accounting program. I did my 4-year undergraduate degree here, and then I took about 6 months off. I did an internship at PricewaterhouseCoopers in the city. Then I came back and did my final year to get my MBA. Now I work full-time at PricewaterhouseCoopers. I'm an auditor in the real estate practice, real asset management practice, but I focus on real estate and infrastructure clients. I'll keep this very casual, just kind of go over, but, if anybody has any questions or anything specific, please feel free to jump in, and, I'm happy to steer this any direction that's going to be most helpful for the group. I was a full season athlete, all 3-season athlete at St. Joseph's as well, which gave me a good outlet. But more at the accounting program, I really do find that the 5-year program was extremely beneficial. And just like Professor Chance mentioned, going for it, getting that internship, almost, I won't say it always results in a job, but it always results in an experience that will only benefit you going forward. Anytime you can put some sort of young work experience on your resume, that's what firms like to see, because I think the biggest thing, everybody, especially with our profession, CPA exam, right? You have to study, you have the books, you have all the materials, but it's that stuff that you can't get from a textbook that is really what firms look for. I find that St. Joseph's truly prepared you for that. I think one of the best things, my favorite part of the whole accounting program, at St. Joseph's was, I would say, the small class sizes, because at most, I think, right, our biggest lecture hall, if you would call it, right, is about 30 people. And then once you get up to the MBA level and the 5-year program, it's much smaller. In real world practice, that's what it is. You're in a accounting team room with only 5-6 people. You have to be able to stay in a professional environment with a small amount of people, work together, get things done. And I really feel St. Joseph's truly prepared me and other students that I know that went through the program to really be prepared to operate in those small groups, and then to present to the larger group if needed. So I don't know if anybody has any questions. I'll also quickly just touch on, some things I see. I am very passionate. I enjoy working with the younger students, incoming students and interns, first-year associates at PricewaterhouseCoopers. So just things I see that make for a successful student that might benefit people here is, one of the biggest things, obviously you got to, take the exam seriously. That's always a big hurdle for everybody. It's a huge achievement. as Professor Capruso I know is going to mention shortly. It's a really great thing. But another thing I think it's really important for students to do is to, immerse yourself in the business world itself, right? We all have social media, we all have Instagram, something, right? Like for me personally, I follow just a lot like the Wall Street Journal and MSNBC and all of that. Jim Cramer's a wacky guy, but he puts good stuff out there. Because as you scroll through, when you're bored, right, you see pictures of what your friends are doing, but then every once in a while you see an article of something that's relevant, that interests you, right? You just see an update, like Tesla stock goes up, Tesla stock goes down, right? Every time you refresh Instagram, you're seeing that these days. But just that will get you in the mindset of, understanding that the business world, right, and especially the accounting world, it impacts every facet of our careers, professionally and personally, right? And the one thing that I really think is fun, if you will, and kind of cool about auditing, right, is you need to understand all of the business. Like right now, it could be a little dry. I understand, I was there not too long ago, right? You have a lot of material you have to soak in. You have to understand, the methodology, the theory of accounting, right? But then you can't really audit a company until you understand all assets of the business, right? You have to understand how, for me, I work in real estate and focusing on oil and gas companies, right? So I have to understand how the politics of the Middle East are going to affect my clients. I have to understand how, electric cars are going to affect my client, things like that. And it kind of gives you avenues to branch out, find what you actually like. And then once you find something that you're kind of passionate about, then you can focus in the accounting on there. So just as a prospective, full-time accountant, and I know going through your schooling and studying, it can be a little dry, it can be a little tough sometimes to push through it. I was there, you have to be real about it a little bit, but if you find those little avenues to make it something that you're passionate about, I think it's a huge help. And when you get into real world practice, a quarter of my day is probably just reading the news and staying up to date. So I guess that would be my advice, off the bat. But, other than that, I don't want to take up too much time. St. Joseph's, I think, was overall the best place for me. I think it gave me all of the success that I have right now. And, I am happy to assist any students who are looking to go forward in this, profession anyway I can. I know some of the faculty here have my contact information, so please feel free to reach out. I'm happy to do what I can.
Thank you, Rich. Does anybody have any questions for Rich? You can unmute yourselves the next question, or you can put it in the chat box.
I have a question for Richard.
Sure.
Can you guys, how you doing, Rich? How you been? Good to
All
see you. Is there an open pipeline or an active pipeline between St. Joseph's and PwC?
So I don't know if there's a active pipeline as much as, like a Penn State or something, right? I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure there is no, full-time recruiter from PwC, for instance, that's at St. Joseph's, right? I am not sure how that becomes a thing. To my knowledge, I know the best way to do that is to have a partner at the firm who is an alumni. I think that's how you would get the most, direct contact, if you will. But other than that, I think the best way to do it is to just have knowledge of the recruiting seasons, if you will. I know Professor Chance mentioned you're getting updates, right, of when they're hiring, who they're looking for, how much they're looking for. I think that kind of gives you the timeline, especially the students too. If you know what that timeline is and say you're a junior, going into your junior year, when those hiring timelines are, typically before the winter busy season, before the summer busy season. I think that's the best way to kind of plan your future schedule if this is something you want to do. And then from there, I think the contacts that Professor Chance has is the best route to go. I know there is a full-time recruiter now in the Melville office. I don't know how much of that detail I can give, but I'd be happy to reach out to him and see if we can create some sort of closer network. I know there's a very strong St. Joseph's representation in the Melville office, which I know a lot of students like to go right to the city because, it's what they see in the movies, right? But you're doing the same work. And once you're in, you can transfer. I think the biggest thing for all of these firms, which is a good thing to keep in mind, is they hire good people. They don't really hire the smartest accountants, right? They hire somebody that can solve a problem, that wants to be there, right? Anybody can look up the guidance and figure out how to do something specific, right? So I think that's something that St. Joseph's really molds well for students. But to answer your question, I don't know if there's a direct pipeline, John, but I know that there are avenues that maybe you can push for a little more if your students have that timeline in the program ready to go.
All right, very good. All right, so yeah, if I see prospects, and I do, of course, and if my colleagues do as well, would we be able to just reach out to you and maybe get a little guidance?
You could absolutely reach out to me. There's never, like I said, there's never harm in an email. The world still say is no, right? So, I'm happy to, work with you guys anyway. I can't make any guarantees. I'm not, I don't make the big bucks over there, but I maybe could direct people in a certain way. So,
okay,
give advice.
Many times it is the alumni who will contact us and say, we are recruiting for interns or we're recruiting for full-time positions. And either they will take the resumes and forward them to the recruiters, or the alumni are actively involved in setting up interviewing days. That happened with Grant Thornton, I think 2 years ago, and they're interested in doing that again.
Great.
So it really is the alumni that help St. Joe's students.
Yeah, and I will say I've noticed, especially at St. Joseph's compared to some of the other schools, we definitely rally around each other a lot more than maybe a Penn State or one of the larger schools where you're more of a number than a personality. So.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, I guess we can move along. Professor Capruso, would you like to speak on your experiences with the accounting program?
Okay, I'm unmuted. Yeah, absolutely, sure. I'll try to be brief as possible. My story is probably a lot different from the many students, but it wasn't so uncommon a few years back. After 2007, 8, 9, there was a kind of an economic downturn, and it brought a lot of us older students back into the classroom. I was fortunate enough to be classmates with Richard, and we developed a good relationship during that period, even though there was a significant age difference. Serious students, people who are moving forward however they are, will find each other. You find each other at St. Joseph's. The contacts that I've created, the friendships, the professional networks that I've created during that period, without any experience creating any kind of a similar network, the contacts that I created are significant, and they're enduring, and probably one of the best things that I took out of St. Joseph's. But I walked back into the classroom. I was somewhere around 40 years old. I had a business of my own that was during this downturn. It was tied into real estate, home improvement, and it was obvious that it wasn't going to succeed in a way that I guess I'd hoped or had envisioned. And I'd been in it for a decade or so. And I made a decision to get back into the classroom and to pursue an education in accounting. And it's an uncomfortable experience to walk into a classroom as an older student. You feel out of place, you feel strange, you're just not sure if you belong in that place. And when you first start and you're filling in your undergraduate credits to get that undergraduate business degree in order to move on to the MBA program, you end up with a lot of kids that are just out of high school. So that was one of the classes I met Richard in. He was probably 19 years old, and I was surrounded by a lot of younger students. And I at first I thought, maybe this really isn't for me. I don't belong here. However, the professionals at St. Joseph's, the professors, I forget what it was called. It was like the organization changed a little bit, but when I first started, it was named something different. But St. Joe's basically has an office for people like myself who are working full time and are just not quite as maybe comfortable in a situation like that, or their schedules don't allow for the freedom to schedule classes during the day. So basically you walk in and you work with these people and they help you. They just make it easy for you, I will say. So that right there kept me from kind of backing out and saying this isn't for me. And then the contacts that I created, or that were created, the people I met, kept me there. And then opportunities open up, possibilities begin to open up for you, and then you continue it. And here I am, I don't know how many years later, but I'm an adjunct here at St. Joseph's. I have the privilege, the honor and privilege of teaching accounting here at the school. I also teach at Suffolk Community and teach and tutor over at Suffolk Community College. In addition to doing accounting work, I'm now a CPA. I was able to get through those exams, which are, if I knew how difficult they were, I probably would have walked away earlier. By the time I realized what I was up against, it was too late. And I really needed to see this through and follow it through. But St. Joseph's prepared me for those exams because the courses that I took, they're crafted, they're created specifically to mint CPAs. St. Joe's creates CPAs. It's course load. The stuff they concentrate on is stuff that you will see. And I do remember when I first started considering the CPA, I used to ask my professors, is this going to be on the CPA? I would just ask, is this on the CPA? Would something like this be on the CPA? And the answer to that question is yes. Everything you take, it could be economics. It could be any of your fundamental accounting, obviously tax accounting, cost accounting, statistics, your writing classes, how to use computers. Everything translates into that CPA exam. So if you're a student considering taking the CPA exam, do it as quickly as you can when you're young. I did it with 2 small children, working full time, a lot of nights, a lot of lost sleep, but I got through it. But you do it early, you do it now, and basically just when you're going to school, just treat every course and class as preparation for something you're not going to do for a couple of years down the line, and you will have success. And St. Joseph's does provide I don't really have experience as being a student in another program, but the success I had in passing those exams under those circumstances is deeply rooted in the education that I got from St. Joseph's. And I have become a voice for St. Joseph's whenever I possibly can. Whenever somebody talks about education or accounting education, I implore them to not only consider St. Joseph's, but their master's program, the MBA program, to get the credits that you need for the CPA certification. And even if the CPA is not your goal, that master's program will bring a lot out of it. And I will just speak on that for another couple of minutes quickly, because this is a significant part of why I recommend the school. The 5-year program allows you to be efficient with your time. It's custom made to mint CPAs to prepare you. You'll get experience. You're going to have to do your internship. But what you'll find, hopefully, and what I found was the program itself, the way it's structured, it forces you to self-assess. And you basically have to go through this process where at first I thought it was like navel gazing. It seemed a little what's that word? I don't know. It seemed foolish almost, where you have to really examine yourself, where you are in your life, what you want. You have to write this, I think it was like a 50 or 60 page paper that looks into all your different personality elements you have to assess yourself. You have to get other people to assess yourself, and you have to look at yourself seriously and see what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses. And it's an incredibly uncomfortable experience if you're not comfortable with that type of self-assessment. And then what you do for the rest of your master's program is, with every course, you attach certain of these abilities, and you improve it and you work on it, whether it be technical or whether it be some personality thing, your attention to detail, your awareness of certain things. And then what you do at the end is you reassess yourself. And you've changed. You've literally changed. And then you go out there and you have a blueprint of yourself that you would have never had you not been forced to go through what seems like a foolish process at first, but turned out to be easily the most valuable process that I've ever been involved with. So I think St. Joseph's is fantastic in terms of the stuff that was mentioned, class size, the courses, the way they're structured, how they prepare you, the internships, the people that you will meet, the networking. Networking is one of the things that you are forced to do in the graduate program. I'm like, I don't want to network. I don't want to reach out to these people. I am in contact with these people today. I'm always laying tracks now. I'm always laying out I'm always looking for opportunities because they're fulfilling and they work. Opportunities to help people and opportunities to be in a position to be helped by people with advice or letters of recommendation or anything like that. But basically the beyond all the good things that you could say about St. Joseph's, if you get involved in that 5-year program and you take that process seriously, it's a lifetime of benefit. And I just have never seen anything like that in anything I've ever done. And I'm a big proponent of that particular program. And that's it. So as you can see, I'm pretty enthusiastic about the St. Joseph's program, and nothing bad to say about it and a lot of good to say about it. I appreciate the opportunity to share that.
Thank
Any
you,
questions?
Professor. Does anybody have any questions?
I do have a quick question for John. I just was wondering why he didn't mention that he was my partner in the auditing groups, and he went to school with me as well. But hey, that's besides the point.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. Yes, Professor Mensch she was a returning CPA with a lot of experience. Back when she got her CPA, you didn't need to have 150 credits, but
we don't have to talk about how old I am.
She returned, and I just didn't want to diminish the chair by letting her know that she was a classmate of mine. I apologize for that.
I do the schedule.
I'm nervous. No, that was fantastic. We had actually had that class with Professor Skinnon, who was fantastic. A big loss. And you guys mentioned Professor Faber before. I'll tell anybody who will listen, Professor Faber conducted the best course that I've ever been a student in. If you get a chance to sit in one of Professor Faber's classes, not to put anybody else in a different category. I've never been in anybody else here's class. But if you get a chance, become a student of Professor Faber. He is about as good as you're going to find. And we obviously pretty lucky to have him. Any other questions? I'm sorry, Jen.
I will quickly throw in for the students in the room. As John just said, during my CPA studies, I used Professor Faber's notes that I took in that class. That was the only one I had to take. I'm more of an audit mind, so tax is not my go-to, but I know it's tempting, but save some of those notebooks, guys, because you will go back to them.
True.
Any other questions? All right, we'll move forward. So up next, I would like to introduce you to Paulina Malin, who will provide a demo of SJC Connect.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. And actually, as Professor Capruso mentioned, networking is hugely important. So I wanted to share something really exciting that the Office of Alumni Engagement just launched this September. We actually launched an online platform called SJC Connect, which is intended to engage, exchange, and empower the SJC community. And there are many reasons to join this network. And of course, it's an opportunity to reconnect with former classmates. There is a mentoring program housed within the platform, so you can mentor students and up and coming alumni. There's a job board included, so there's a way to discover job opportunities and alumni talent. And of course, it's an excellent opportunity to expand your professional network. I'm going to share my screen so you can take a quick look at what we actually have in store. And here it is. As you can see, it looks a little bit like a social media platform. And over here on the right-hand side, you'll see a listing of jobs. This actually is an integration from Handshake that the Office of Career Preparation and Professional Development runs. But in addition to seeing everything that's coming in through Handshake, we also have the opportunity for people to post their own opportunities and from wherever they're working for, whatever type of alumni talent they're seeking. Over here on the left-hand side, you'll see a menu. And when you click on jobs, you can see there's an opportunity to post jobs here. It's a very easy search feature, so at least you're able to find all of these opportunities. There is a directory included, and so anyone who joins will be included in this directory and of course have the opportunity to share their information or not. But once we take a look here, you'll see that some have included their current positions, where they're working, where they graduated from, what campus they graduated from, and what they're currently doing. There is a tab here for mentors. And once you click on that tab, you'll actually see all these people flagged as willing to help. It's very easy to search for them by industry, by what their major was, so that you can actually reach out and connect with people to establish a mentoring relationship. There are also different ways that people can volunteer if a mentoring relationship is not really what they're looking for. Perhaps their time is very limited, but they'd still like to be able to connect. And they have the opportunity to check on their profiles if they're willing to meet with somebody for coffee and talk about industry-related things. If you just need a few questions answered from somebody who's in that particular field that you're looking to get into, then this is an excellent platform to do so. There are events listed here. And of course, you can see our Golden Eagle Spirit Fest listed at the top. But we do include additional events such as our On the Road series that take place all over the country. And then we also have a networking event coming up sometime in October. So that's just a sneak peek at what we have coming up. There is a groups feature as well. And one of the groups that we have currently is a career development group. That one is hosted basically by the Office of Career Preparation and Professional Development. We just want to keep the conversation going in case anybody has any industry-related questions, and they can help each other on that platform. We are also looking to create an accounting program group, which I think would be a great opportunity for alumni to connect with students. And so right now we just have a skeleton built for that, but we will be sharing the information with you so that you can join the platform and join the accounting program group. And at least that will be a space for all of you to be able to more easily connect with one another. And Allison has actually shared the link to the platform, so feel free to log in, sign up. We look forward to having you on there. There is a resources tab as well. It includes things how to use the actual platform, a little bit more information about the mentoring program, so information for mentors, information for mentees, links to our magazine, videos of past programming, and much more. So that's a little bit about what we have coming up. Again, we just launched on September 1st. We're currently trying to build the alumni capacity on this platform. Of course, the more people that join this platform, the easier it's going to be to network, and the easier it's going to be to share all these possibilities and make sure that the SJC community has access to all of this. We are going to be starting to roll this out to students, but again, we are looking to build the alumni capacity first so that there's a robust pool of mentors for the students to choose from. So for those of you who are still students, keep an eye out. We're going to be rolling this out to you. In the meantime, feel free to sign up. There won't be too much in the mentoring front yet, but at least you can join the group and get these conversations going and check in every now and then. You'll see a lot of updates coming up.
Thank you, Paulina. Up next, we have a couple of students that will just chat about their experiences. So we have Lewis and Scott. So Lewis, would you like to start off?
I'll start off first.
Great.
Hi, everybody. I'm in my final semester here at St. Joe's, and it has been a wonderful journey, I must say. To start off, I'm going to piggyback kind of off of everybody here. One of the key things is I've had 2 internships at public accounting firms, where the only way I would have had those opportunities was through St. Joe's. And a shout out to Professor Faber for getting me my current one. He didn't just guarantee me a spot. All he did was set up an interview, where then what I've learned from St. Joe's is, especially through the smocks and team smocks specifically, is working together in groups is crucial. And networking with new people is how you really succeed in the workplace. Like I believe John said, it's when you're working together with teams, and especially Rich would know on an audit, is you got to have clear communication. And St. Joe's developed a great program here, and having that with everybody in students specifically working together on a big project. It's not just a simple assignment or a question and finding an answer. It's really collaborating together and conducting a lot of research to answer it. One of the other things too is I'm going to be falling into my CPA exam. And like John mentioned, for the exam itself, it's not just finding answers. It takes a lot of studying and a lot of work. And St. Joe's, I believe, truly prepped me for it. A lot of the questions that are asked are not just going to just find a simple solution. It's to interpret the question itself, to find out what they're exactly looking for. And I know Chance is huge on that, and so is Mensche. And those really help prep you to be able to not only understand the question thoroughly, but to be able to answer it properly. You can find an answer and it might not be the right one right away, but to have a proper understanding of it is really critical in answering it properly. To join this program is just fantastic. I mean, the opportunities and the people you meet, I mean, down the road, you never know. Like, I'm working right now as an associate accountant, tax-wise, at Prager Metis in Woodbury. I have 3 alumni there currently from St. Joseph's, and they just hired 2 interns before COVID. I believe 1 is still on, but they're always looking for more opportunities. So, I mean, if anybody needs, I could always send out their resumes and get them interviews the same way that Faber did for me. It is crucial, and that's how you be able to network and build relationships also within the workplace. I don't really know what else to really elaborate on. Oh, and the actual classes themselves, even though they might be like a bit of a challenge, or you might feel it to be difficult, I developed a great way to have time management, which is crucial in not only your workplace, but also at home, to balance the time between your personal life, work, and school. I feel like this program really kind of developed me, and now I'm going to be taking that further in my life. Not only when I'm going to be building clients, I'm going to be taking on more accounts, becoming a manager, becoming a partner. That is a crucial aspect in your own personal life that you really need to utilize. And this program itself, I really think, kind of helped me excel and really develop that ability even more.
Thank you, Lewis. Does anybody have any questions for Lewis? All right, we'll move forward with Scott. Would you like to explain your experiences in the accounting program?
Yeah, sure. Good morning. My name is Scott, obviously. I probably have a somewhat different, I guess, path through St. Joe's, because I transferred in from out of state with an associate's degree already, and I'm also a military veteran. So I graduated with a degree in accounting, but with the professional studies program. So I didn't have to do an internship, which was, I mean, it was nice at first because I didn't have to, but it was actually a lot harder to get a job without an internship. And then I graduated in 2019. I'm doing just the regular MBA program now. I'm also working full-time at PwC as well. And I have Professor Chance to thank for that specifically, because I was a Brooklyn student full-time, but I actually took 2 classes at Patchogue. One was Professor Mensche and then Professor Chance. So I've actually been in both of their classrooms as well. And yeah, I mean, just to kind of piggyback on what Richard and Lewis were both saying. It's, you know, it's a small school, obviously. Brooklyn's even smaller than Patchogue, but either way, it's a small school compared to a lot of the other big ones that are constantly recruiting accountants, especially for the big firms. So it can feel almost a little intimidating to, you know, wonder how you can get a job or something, because you always hear about, you know, the students from NYU or Columbia or even Baruch in the city. But there is a really good network, especially with some of the professors here. Obviously, I'm proof of that. And the classes themselves are, I mean, they're great. They're challenging. They're hard, especially Professor Chance. But, you know, if you study and, you know, pay attention, you learn it. And also what the other people were touching on as well, a lot of what you learn is on the CPA exam. I'm studying for the financial accounting right now. And I mean, all of this stuff is basically just advanced 1 and advanced 2. You know, it's hard because you have to know it all for 1 test instead of 2 semesters. But, you know, I've gone over all of these topics before. So the program definitely prepares you well. Let's see, what else did I put on there? Yeah, I mean, that's really all I have, is that it is a good program. It's small, which benefits you. It benefits you in the classroom. You know, I had classes with 5 people or less, especially in Brooklyn, just because there specifically, I want to say, like, when I graduated, there were 20 accounting students. So there aren't that many, but the professors really care. They, you know, they look after you on both campuses. And I definitely like seeing that demo for the SJC Connect, because I think it is important for alumni from St. Joe's to try to help out, to kind of do our part where we can to help out the accounting department, help people, you know, get employment afterwards as well. I always think that that's a valuable thing that you can do, is reach back and help out. So I haven't been at PwC as long as Rich has, so I probably have even less pull than him. But similar to what he said, I mean, if anybody, you know, if a professor or someone wants to reach out with any sort of recruiting, you know, like someone's resume or something, I'm happy to help as much as I can in my limited capacity. And yeah, that's all my talking points.
Thank you, Scott. Does anybody have any questions for Scott?
I've got a question. Okay.
Go right ahead.
What office do you work? Where's your office located for PwC?
New York City, 300 Madison.
Okay, you guys working remotely now, or are you commuting?
Yeah, we've been working from home since the middle of March, and probably, well, the rumor is at least through next busy season.
Okay, and how are you adjusting to that?
It's been fine, honestly. A lot of what you can do, I work in insurance, so a lot of what I do is virtual anyway. It's just a lot of this with your regular teams. Meet every morning, talk about what your strategy is. You know, assuming there's no network issues, which usually there aren't, and assuming all the software is working, which most of the time it is. I had an issue earlier this week where it wasn't, but for the most part, it's really good. You know, they give you a laptop and like a second monitor and all that, so you can have like a home office, and it's a pretty good setup. I think the hardest thing was the distraction of being home for a couple weeks was a little bit to get used to. It's a lot easier to walk away from the computer and, you know, go hang out. Like I have a wife and a kid, so a lot of distraction to just not work for a couple hours at a time. But once you get used to it, I prefer it. The office is really nice in the city. You know, it's a big fancy office, so I guess I miss that aspect of it, but I don't miss having to pay for transportation every day and having to get up early and come back late at night.
Understood. And are you and Rich familiar with each other? Or are you just meeting on this call?
Now, I've never met him before, so that's interesting. That we work in the same office, so funny how that works.
That would be interesting. Yeah, I guess it might be beneficial in terms of the networking for us as a whole if we could somehow, I guess, perhaps the best way would be with that new with the new Connect thing, just to have an easy way to keep track of where our our alumni wind up, because I know that anybody from St. Joe's could reach out to me and be like, hey, you don't know me, but I went to St. Joe's, and I would immediately just want to just pay it forward. I would just want to help. So yeah, hopefully within PwC and Grant Thornton and the other companies, we can start keeping track of our alumni, so that even if you don't know another one of your fellow students, you're able to see who from the school is working at your particular organization or whatnot. So I look forward to
Yeah,
that.
it was actually funny. I should say, like, when I first got hired, I was thrown right onto a team because I started in January, so right during busy season. And I was on a small team, but the other associate was also a St. Joe's alum. So I don't know what the odds of that would have been. I think some of you probably know her, Stephanie Beer. I know she was in Professor Chance's class because we talked about how hard it was. But so I thought that was kind of funny that, the odds of, meeting someone else like that in a pretty big firm, especially in New York, where I want to say there's over 8,000 people in that office. I don't know. It just worked out that way, so it was kind of funny. But she's the only one I've met so far, and now it's been about 9 months of working. So, but yeah, I to your point, I definitely agree. It would be good to have a place where we know where everybody is.
So Paulina, is there a I'm sorry, you're familiar with the Connect, right? That's your area.
Yes, SJC Connect, yeah.
The SCNY Connect. Is there a place where is there a place where you can post where you are, or what, like student?
So there's a news feed, and anyone's welcome to post in that section. And then also within the group, there's an opportunity to post everywhere. Is that what you mean?
Well, like for example, if let's just say you were interested in PwC and you were curious, would there be a way on Connect as a tool to find out if there are any St. Joe's people that are actively using the Connect system that are working at that particular organization?
Yes, there is. So in the directory, there's a feature where you can actually search for alumni, and you can search, of course, by name, you can search by major, you can search by company that they're working for. So if you wanted to search PricewaterhouseCoopers, you'd actually have everyone come up who's actually working for that at the moment.
Okay, so that sounds like it's a good place for that to happen. Are you on board with that, Rich? Are you going to post to the Connect?
Rich had to step out. He had another commitment, so Rich isn't here.
Okay, so I'm sure he is. Rich is game. Rich always talks about how he wants to, when he gets the opportunity, he's working his way up, as is Scott. He always talks about the wanting to, as he gets more influence, to create, to foster that connection between his company and St. Joe's, which is really good. He's a sharp, he's a sharp man. He was a sharp kid. He's a sharp man now, and he's all in on St. Joe's. He's a really good ambassador to St. Joseph's, and he's a high quality person. So that speaks well to the college.
Paulina, I think this Connect is wonderful. I really do, because we have so many alumni at so many different firms, and not just at firms, but at other organizations. We have so many people working for the government in really prestigious fields, not just fields, but they've really reached a high level. And I think students need to know all of the opportunities that are available to them. So I think this is wonderful. I just hope that alumni will actually register, as many as possible. We'll try to get the word out.
Thank you, Mary. We appreciate it. And yes, it's absolutely a fantastic tool for people to connect. Right now, we're definitely in the early stages of, a big push to make sure that we try to get as many as possible in there as possible. So we are including demonstrations of the platform and events such as this, and basically all our event lineup for the fall. But anywhere you can share the link or more information, there is a little bit more information also on the alumni webpage. But I'm happy to share more information out with you, especially as you're connecting with alumni, with students, and of course, once we definitely do a larger push for students, we definitely want to get the faculty involved.
That's great.
Thank you.
I have a quick question, well, two about it. I'm not sure if you mentioned it before, but is it accessible through the app?
There
It will
is
be?
an app, but it is not the SJCNY current app that connects
That
to
there's,
my SJC. Yeah,
okay.
it's a different one. Yeah.
And then for students that, like, I'm graduating in December, hopefully, will I have access? I know you said students are going to be a little bit until you have access to it, but from there, will I be able to have access joining it?
Yes, so at this point, any student who actually joins will be accepted onto the platform. So just
Okay.
as I shared with all of you, and I know Allison had shared the link to the platform, feel free to join. We'd love to have you.
Okay.
Just with the disclaimer, of course, is right now we are in the early stages of building some capacity on there and making sure that there are plenty of alumni for you to connect with. So just bear with us as we increase the numbers on there. But we'd love to have you on the platform, especially on that accounting group. Take a look what we have offered there, and if you have any feedback, feel free to reach out to the Alumni Engagement team.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, I will open up the floor to everybody. Now we have 6 more minutes. If you guys want to have an open conversation, feel free to unmute yourselves and we can continue the conversation right now.
Lisa, would it be okay for Michelle to briefly talk about the Accounting Society?
I was just going to mention it.
I'm sorry.
And if there's any way, shape, or form that alumni can help, please plug it in.
Excuse me, before I don't want to just disappear on you, but I have to do the introduction at our noon event that starts in just a few minutes. So it was lovely to see all of you and share the SJCNY Connect platform. Again, feel free to reach out to my team if you have any questions about it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paulina.
I'll take it over. Thank you, Professor. It's great to see all you guys here. So basically just a little bit about the Accounting Society. We overall strive to connect students with other accounting students, other firms, and with potential employers. So like everyone mentioned today, networking is a huge part of the Accounting Society. So we do that through bringing in guest speakers. We have the New York State Society of CPAs come in, IMA, some local firms we're going to try and get into like our Zoom meetings this semester. So yeah, really networking, guest speakers, and then we host workshops. So we have LinkedIn workshops, we have the interviewing skills workshops. So really preparing our accounting students for the next step in their education or career. And yeah, it's really nice working with all of our peers and professors. So yeah, I'm just really excited. And I would just say if anybody, I recognize a lot of you from the first Accounting Society meeting, but if you'd like to leave your email in the chat, we can add you to our email list and we'll have direct contact with you. Also, we have the Instagram, so accountingsociety.li is our Instagram. So we're building that up, putting some really good information out there. And yeah, thank you for having me, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle. I actually put my email in the chat box right now. So if anybody has any questions, or feel free to reach out, and any alumni or students saying, hey, I want help, please reach out to me. I'm happy to help, and I'm happy to connect, be the connector for both students and alumni as well. Any last minute thoughts, any last minute conversations?
I actually have a question.
Yeah.
So my question is when you go into an internship, you pretty much, I don't know how much selection is into the specific niche that you end up getting into. Obviously, well, I've worked in healthcare for a very, very long time. And therefore, I would like to know to those who have taken the internships, if in the spot that they've landed in, is that what ultimately is going to be their goal, or do they foresee these firms moving them throughout the firm so that they could find what they really are interested in doing in that firm?
Well, I'm not a student, but I supervise all the internships. And on the application, you will indicate what type of organization you would like to intern at. And we try our best to place you in an organization of that type, not place you, but send your resumes to organizations that you've indicated. They will decide who to interview. They will decide who to offer an internship to. And so you might be placed in an internship where you are now auditing not-for-profit organizations. And you might decide, well, that's not really what you want to do for your career. So you might want to try something else. But I think an internship is a wonderful way to determine if this is the career field for you. So if you are lucky enough to get an internship where you're exposed to both audit and tax, then you can make a determination whether or not one of those specialties is what you'd like to do in the future. But you know, we have some students that do more than one internship, even though you can only get credit for one, but you can do more than one. So I don't know if any of the students who have completed internships would like to speak about that.
I mean, I could jump in on that. What one of my internships, I was actually just strictly doing individual tax returns. And then they exposed me into corporations, partnerships. And then now they asked me if I wanted to handle trusts and estates. Now, specifically, as I got a full-time offer, I am actually handling strictly trusts and estates. But I do have an experience and I can work on individuals still in corporations. But in my internship itself, I kind of was exposed to many different aspects of tax. And they allowed me to kind of not pick and choose, but go more towards the way that I felt the most comfortable with and wanted to learn. And in most internships, it seems like you kind of get like little pieces of everything. And then whether it's tax or audit, whichever internship you're doing it for, they kind of like will then veer you into that. And then if halfway through, I know a few firms will do this, if you're really not feeling it and you want to transfer to a different portion or a different aspect of it, they will allow you to do so.
Right.
They prefer to keep you in-house rather than have you leave.
Oh, that sounds great. Thank you.
That's true.
Anything else? All right, well, we achieved so much in the time that we've been here and gained a lot ourselves too. This event is finished, of course, but it doesn't stop here. Make sure you continue the conversation in our accounting group on SJC Online Connect until our next gathering. Our next event to close out Golden Eagles Spirit Fest is our Golden Eagles Huddle, which is starting now. If you want to join for the conversation with newly appointed Director of Athletics and Recreation, Melody Cope, as she provides updates on the current state of SJC Long Island Athletics, feel free to click the link in our chat box. I know I've enjoyed today enormously, and I hope you all have too. Thank you, and I hope to see you again soon.